powerful. It had large iron teeth. It's made of metal. So today I'm going to explain how 666 is very clearly related to artificial intelligence, that the key to understanding this 2,000-year-old riddle that Christians have been unable to figure out for all this time, the reason for that is because it is artificial intelligence, something that was unable to be conceived of in the prior 2,000 years from whence it was written. So I'm going to break it down in a very simple manner. I think you're going to be pretty surprised at just how easy and how clear it is that Revelation 13:18, where 666 appears, is actually in reference to artificial intelligence and predicting, that is, that the Bible is saying, God is warning through the Bible that AI is going to eventually take over the entire world and force people to worship it as a god. And it is going to be a god in our own image of our own creation, and not a god that has created us. So that is the key, and that is the meaning of 666. I'm going to break it down for you really easily today. So let's start with the verse itself. We're going to go to Revelation 13:18. Now I am on BibleHub.com. You can just type in Revelation 13:18 and go to it. Here it lists all the different various translations, New International Version, the New Living Translation, going all the way down. So you can look at this verse in every single different version of it based on which Bible version you choose. So we'll just start with the New International Version, since this is one of the probably more popular, the most popular one. This is where 666 appears. Again, it's Revelation 13:18. Let's read it together. It says, "This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man." Now, don't get too tripped up there yet. That number is 666. And actually, if you look at a number of the other versions, some say the number of a man, some say a human number, some say a human total number, some say he, some say it. So there's a little bit of ambiguity as to exactly what the Greek text was saying, and so we're going to get into that a little bit. But let's start first breaking this down by understanding what this thing is, the beast. For that's the first thing we're starting with in this verse. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast. So what is this thing called the beast? Now you can read about it in Revelation, but the first place where it shows up in the Bible is actually in Daniel 7. Now Daniel 7 and Revelation 13 parallel each other very nicely. Most Christian scholars recognize that Revelation 13 is building upon Daniel 7. So let's start with Daniel 7, where it actually explains exactly what this fourth and final beast is that's written of in Revelation. So Daniel, in the Old Testament, long before Jesus ever came around, he has a dream, a vision of the end times. And part of this vision is seeing different kingdoms through time, going from the first being Babylon, which is what most people interpret this first beast as, all the way up to a fourth and final beast. Now, this is the one that's written of in Revelation. So let's read here. It basically says, I'm just going to summarize here. Daniel has a dream of four beasts. The first one he looks, and it's a lion. The second one that he sees comes up is like a bear. The third one is like a leopard. And the fourth one here, let's read this. This is Daniel 7:7. This is the identity of this fourth and final beast that's linked to 666, and I'm going to explain how artificial intelligence is clearly part of this. So let's read Daniel 7:7. After that, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was a fourth beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It's made of metal. And it crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. Now this is key because it says this over and over. It was different from all the former beasts that came before it. Now let's read again, because now we're going to see exactly what this is. There's the interpretation of the dream a little bit later by an angel. So the angel says, the four great beasts are four kings. That's what it says at first, that will arise from the earth. And then it goes on to say, then Daniel says, but I wanted to know the meaning of the fourth beast, which was, again, different from all of the others. Keeps repeating this, that this fourth and final beast is something unlike every other ruling authority kingdom that has come before it. So this fourth beast, which was different from all the others and most terrifying, with its iron teeth and bronze claws. Again, another clue here. How is it different? Well, it's made of metal. That beast that crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. Now the angel finally gives this final interpretation of what this fourth and final beast is. Angel says the fourth beast, this is in Daniel 7:23. The fourth beast is a fourth kingdom. So at first, the angel said as a king. Now clarifying, saying that this fourth beast is actually a kingdom that will appear on the earth. Key, in the end times. It will be different from all the other kingdoms. Keep repeating that idea over and over, and it will devour the whole earth, trampling it down and crushing it. So, what is this beast in Daniel 7? What is this beast in Revelation 13:18 that we're using to figure out 666 and who the Antichrist and all that? Well, very clearly, it says, let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast. This beast is a final power, a ruling authority, a kingdom that is going to be unlike any other ruling authority we've seen on the earth before. It's going to be completely new. And what does it say in Daniel? What are the clues that it gives as to how it's going to be different? One of the major clues is that it's made of metal, iron teeth and bronze claws. The other beasts were described of in either animal or human biological parts. In biological terms. This fourth and final beast is referred to as being metallic and very, very powerful, very frightening, conquering the entire earth, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Is that the Roman Empire? That's what most Christians believe. I believe the Roman Empire was just a shadow, a very small glimpse of this warlike intelligence that is going to conquer the entire earth. Now let's move on. In order to understand this, you have to calculate the number of the beast. So what does that mean? Well, I believe what the Bible is arguing here is that the beast itself is the byproduct of human numbers. In order to understand what it is, you have to calculate it. It's actually a byproduct of calculation and numbers itself, of math. Now again, that is clearly artificial intelligence, but that seems like a stretch, right? Not quite, because look at what the very next sentence is. For it is the number of a man. Now here's where most Christians have gotten tripped up for the past 1,000, 2,000 years. When we read, most versions say the number of a man, the number of a man, the number of man. Again, some say man's number or a human total number. So there's a little bit of confusion. What's being said here? Unfortunately, most of the versions of the Bible have mistranslated this as a specific man, and so Christians have thought, okay, in order to understand this, the method they've gone about this is I need to look at a specific man, whether or not that's the Roman Emperor Nero, whether or not that's Hitler, whether or not that's the Pope, as some Christians have said, or whether or not that's some evil ruler that's come about, or someone that Christians don't like, or that killed a bunch of people, anyone that they think personifies evil or is ungodly. If you can take their name or the title of their name and use gematria, which is essentially just taking each letter in the alphabet, interchanging it with a number, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, and so on. You take that person's name or the title, you translate it into the numbers, the numerical equivalents of each of the letters, and you add that up. And if you get 666, aha! That means that person is the Antichrist, is this beast, this ruling authority. That's how it's been attempted. Now, what I'm saying to you is that is not the method that was intended. That was the wrong way, and that's why so many different people have been labeled the Antichrist over time, when all along this vision by John in Revelation that the Bible and God is warning about this ruling authority, that it is in relation to artificial intelligence, not a specific man. So why am I so firm in that belief? Well, let's look at the Greek for this word here, of a man. Is it a specific man that the Bible is referencing? No, and we can see that if we go to the Greek. Again, this is Revelation 13. We're going to go to 13:18. And if we look at the Greek, it's going to show us the Greek, and it's going to show us the words underneath it in each case. It's not going to 13:18. Okay, 13:18. Here it is. So here is that verse that we're looking at. It's going to show the Greek, and then it's also going to show the English equivalent. Now, the word that we're interested in here is the one where it has a man's. That is the Greek word anthropo. Now, if we go there, there's 132 occurrences of this word in the New Testament. The overwhelming majority of them are in reference to the title of Jesus, specifically the title that he usually uses for himself, and that is the Son of Man. Jesus refers to himself as the Son of Man. So this part of man in Son of Man is where we get that Greek word anthropo. So let's think about that. Is Jesus the son of a specific man? No. To say that would be blasphemy. Jesus is not the son of Joseph. That would be a specific man. Jesus is in fact the Son of God. He's actually descended of God. So what does the Son of Man mean? This is his dual nature. This is a mystery that many people get confused about, but Jesus has a dual nature. He is both the Son of God and he is also the Son of Man. Now, he refers to himself throughout the New Testament. You can look at all the different occurrences of the word anthropo. He refers to himself as the Son of Man, meaning that he is actually descended from humanity. He is the divine, God himself incarnated into a human body, descended through humanity. And you can look at that from the lineage of Jesus all the way through, prophesied through the Bible, through the Jews, and then finally through Mary. But again, when it's saying the Son of Man, it's not saying that he is the son of a specific man, Joseph, which he's not. Joseph was not his biological father. Jesus was born miraculously through the Virgin Mary. So this part, anthropo, is clearly a reference to his human nature. That is that he is he was descended from humanity. So when we go back, keep that in mind now. Anthropo, it's not saying a specific man. It's talking about his human origins. Go back to Revelation 13:18. For it is the number of a man. That is a mistranslation. What it should say is, for it is the number of human origins or of humanity. It is a byproduct. If you read it, the beast is a ruling authority that's going to come about in the end, and it is itself the byproduct of numbers of a human origin. So that could be binary code, which was created by humans, or it could just essentially mean that the beast AI comes out of human mathematics, human generated numbers, human data. That could be exactly what it's saying. Now, let's go on. That's what I believe it is saying, but now let's get into it a little bit further with this part. That number is 666. What does that mean? So, 6 is a symbol of man's intelligence. Why is that? It's because man and women were created on the 6th day. You can read about that in Genesis. So when we think of 6, 6 is a representation, a symbolic number for human intelligence, human wisdom, and the human nature as representing the epitome of God's creation. After he created man and woman, God stopped, and that was it. And man and women were the epitome of God's creation. 6 is the representation or the symbol of man's intelligence, man's wisdom. Now, if you look at the Greek, it's not actually saying 666 the way we think of it or write of it. It's actually saying 660, 600. That is this unstoppable ruling power that is unlike any human power that has come before it, that is probably made of metal, as the clue gives, that is the byproduct of human numbers. Again, the second part that we got into. It is a mathematical explosion or a exponential explosion of man's intelligence, power, and nature spread across the earth. 6, 60, 600. 6 is representing man's intelligence. Multiply that by 10, you get 60. Multiply it by 10 again, you get 600. Now, what I think John is saying, the one who had this vision and received this revelation, I think what he's saying is, if we were to think of a repeating process going on, we would note that mathematically as usually as a dot, dot, dot. So I think that's basically what John is indicating here, is that the beast is this process, this intelligence explosion, this exponential growth in man's intelligence across the earth in a way that is unlike anything that we've seen that has ever come before, and it is the byproduct again of human numbers. If you listen to a lot of the technologists and philosophers out there that speak of AI, they always speak of it in terms of an explosion of intelligence. That is this self-feeding cycle of AI getting smarter and smarter and smarter. That's exactly what the Bible is saying here. This beast, this ruling authority in the end times, unlike anything that has come before, is going to be an explosion of human intelligence 10 times, times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10, and it is going to continue until it is finally stopped by God. We also read in Revelation that this beast, which is AI, that is going to rule the world, that it will also force everyone on the earth to worship it as God. Again, this is going to be a God of our own creation. It is the byproduct of human numbers, of human intelligence, but it is then going to rebel against us and force us to worship it as God, a God made in our own image. So that is very clearly, in my mind, what Revelation 13:18 means. What the key is, that's the key for understanding 666, that it is talking about artificial intelligence, the explosion of our own intelligence through AI to eventually conquer the world and turn on us, just as we turned on God and declared ourselves to be God. If you have any questions or feedback on what I discussed today, feel free to visit my website, aiantichrist.blogspot.com. You can leave a message, leave a comment on YouTube. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you are listening to this and you're not a Christian and you are searching for the answers, I just want you to know that there is no peace like the peace that you can find in Jesus. And at any point in time, you can ask Jesus into your heart to save you from your sins and believe in him as your Lord and Savior. That is the gospel. It doesn't require anything from you, no religion, just confessing that you need him in your life, and he will give you the peace that transcends all understanding that you may need. If you have any questions, again, leave me a comment. Feel free to reach out. I'm signing off. God bless.